Welcome to WMAR Classic Games from the Vault. I'm Sean Stebner. This week we are bringing you college lacrosse from 2000, a battle of the beltways between the UMBC Retrievers and the Georgetown Hoyas. The Hoyas are coming off a Final Four appearance in 1999 and are undefeated at 4-0 heading into the contest. The Retrievers are 1-2 on the season but own a 9-2 series record versus the Hoyas. Our announcing team will be Scott Garceau, Keith Mills, and Quint Kesnick. Enjoy the game.
A 2 Sports presentation, Baltimore's leader in local sports programming. Under Hall of Fame coach Dave Urich, they have roared to the top of the national rankings. 10 wins 2 years ago, 13 last year. The Georgetown Hoyas have arrived as a college lacrosse power. Under Don Zimmerman, UMBC earned its first NCAA Division I tournament ever. Now the Retrievers are looking to prove they belong among the nation's elite. The showdown at high noon in the nation's capital. 2 Sports presents the Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week. The UMBC Retrievers versus the Georgetown University Hoyas.
And hi, everybody, and welcome to the Georgetown University campus. Scott Garceau, Keith Mills, and Quint Kesnick with you today. The Georgetown Hoyas and the UMBC Retrievers. Keith, we're going to be hard-pressed to match what we saw Friday night up in Syracuse, but we're watching one of the elite teams today in the Hoyas.
Yeah, Don Zimmerman of UMBC can only hope that his team is within a goal down the stretch. UMBC lost a lot to graduation last year, and in Georgetown they play a legitimate national championship contender. Dave Urich's club is 4-0 and red hot with a lot of talent back.
Coming off a Final Four appearance in the NCAAs. Let's get Quentin here right now. Quint, UMBC, they've got their work cut out for them today. What do they have to do to stay in this game?
Well, I think they need to control the tempo of the game and possess the ball, but also their star player, Dan Morrell, has got to show up in a big way. 89 career goals, 60 career assists. Last season had 30 goals. A creative passer. You'll see right here, he gets the assist. He's number 27 at the top left of your screen. He feeds the ball down low to Josh Hahn. Really, the UMBC offense starts and ends with Dan Morrell, the senior from the St. Mary's School in Annapolis.
Quint, Andrew Hampson was as good as we saw last year in goal. He's now coaching. What do they got to do in goal?
Well, they have Steve Kusa, who, unlike Hampson, is small, but quickness is the name of his game. Kusa, only about 48% save percentage on the season. His defense has been a little suspect in front of him. He's a talented kid. They just need to play better fundamental defense around him. Keep the shots coming from the outside, and UMBC's got a shot. All
right, Keith, over on the Georgetown side, veteran attack. They can light it up. Second leading scoring team in the nation a year ago.
Yeah, they can light it up despite losing first-team All-American Greg McCaver, who was as good as they come. They're led on attack by number 30, Dave Urich's son, Scott. He already has 13 goals and 3 assists this year. Last year, he set a Georgetown record with 47 goals in a season. He is a senior from Robinson High School in nearby Fairfax. As I said, he's Dave Urich's son. 3 seniors on attack. Scott Urich is one of the best.
Scott Schroeder in goal, almost like UMBC. Not a lot of experience there.
Not a lot of experience. He beat out Gilman's Dan Mooney this year. Schroeder is a sophomore from Summit, New Jersey. He started all 4 games this year. He's given up an average of 7 goals a game. He doesn't have to play spectacular in goal because his offense is so strong, but he's surrounded by a very solid defense led by number 4, Greg Papa.
Our precision-tuned keys to the game and the starting lineups. When we return, it's UMBC and Georgetown.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Toyota, making it happen every day. CollegeLacrosseUSA.com, the definitive source. STX Lacrosse, we live it, we breathe it, we build it. And Warrior, the means to dominate.
Hi, everybody. Georgetown 4-0 against the UMBC Retrievers 1-2. Quint, let's take a look at how the Retrievers under Don Zimmerman line up.
Well, Zimmerman's big on the fundamentals of lacrosse, and lacrosse is a team game, and it starts with the attack. Jeff Radcliffe, 80 career goals. He's a Canadian. He'll be working with Josh Hahn, 27 career goals. He's from Ellicott City and Loyola High School, and Dan Morrell, who we talked about earlier. At the midfield, John Harrison from St. Mary's, Adam Shiley, also from St. Mary's, and Eric Barger from North Hartford High School. On defense, John Smith from Mount Hebron, Eric Hester from Hartford, and Zach Burke from St. Mary's. And in goal, Steve Kusa.
As we mentioned, Georgetown, Keith, they've become one of the elite teams in lacrosse. Let's take a look at their lineup.
Yeah, as we said, very experienced on attack, led by Scott Urick and number 24, Andy Flick. Urick, a senior. Flick, a senior from Wilton, Connecticut. And Peter Velopik, also a senior from Rochester, New York. On first midfield, number 3, Brett Wagner, a good-looking sophomore from Calvert Hall. He's off to a good start. Number 22 is Mike Hennihan, a junior from New York. And number 13, Steve Dussault from Columbus, Ohio. He is from Arlington, the school that produced Brendan Shook of Johns Hopkins. Greg Papa, Chris Tully, and Roger Colbert. Tully is from Gilbert. Roger Colbert is from Newark, New Jersey, but Greg Papa is the returning first-team All-American candidate, and they'll have to play well to protect Scott Schroeder.
A lot of new faces for Coach Zim. He says we're not rebuilding, we're just kind of remodeling this year.
Remodeling, but he has his hands full today.
All right, Quinn, let's take a look at the precision tune keys to this game.
Well, the first thing for UMBC, you must stop the Hoyas' attack. They've got 3 well-balanced scores. They've scored 35 goals in 4 games. The second, maximize Marol. UMBC has to get Dan Marol involved in the offense. He counts for 21%, but they need to put him in positions where he can both score and pass the ball. For Georgetown, they have to dominate the draws. The question mark coming in would be their face-offs. They only win 56% compared to UMBC's outstanding 67%. And finally, Schroeder has been hot in the goals, 66%. UMBC only saving 48%. So if Schroeder makes some saves, they win some draws, Georgetown will be tough to beat.
All right, there you have it. We're just about set to go. Back with the Toyota face-off right after this. You look at Coach Don Zimmerman, his UMBC Retrievers, an obvious underdog today. Georgetown ranked number 4. They're off to a 4-0 start, and they're a team that went to the Final Four last year, guys.
Yeah, Scott, but they lost a lot of guys. 23 of the 34 players on UMBC, Quinn, are sophomore or freshmen. You lose Chris Turner, Jason Quenzer, Andrew Hampson, and others. Tough.
And Dave Urick right there, really doing a super job with this program here about 10 years now. And last season, this season that they took that step forward to the Final Four, losing to Syracuse.
Ready for our Toyota face-off now. Mike Canick, Georgetown in the dark jerseys. Brian Lawton, number 22 for UMBC. And a battle for the first possession of the game. The whistle stops play.
It's going to be a loose ball push on the far side. Art Price, big number 16 for Georgetown, out of Loyola High School, guilty of the loose ball push. So UMBC will attack first with Dan Marol.
Quinn, a little bit about these two goalies who really haven't played a lot prior to this year. Schroeder and Kusa for UMBC.
Schroeder, a real highly recruited kid out of Summit, New Jersey. Left-hander, 5'10", 175. He backed up Brian Hull last year. And the Georgetown defense has done a terrific job bringing him along. They limit the opposing team from inside 10 yards. They say, hey, you want to take a 12 to 15-yard shot? Go ahead. Schroeder will make the save. Conversely, Steve Kusa for UMBC has struggled, only 48%, because the defense in front of him has struggled as well.
Ratcliffe had it checked away, and now UMBC turns it over. They play it back to their goalie, Scott Schroeder, the sophomore from Summit, New Jersey. And here come the Hoyas on the attack. Lefty firing, number 16 taking a shot. Art Price, he's a senior from Loyola. Big guy, 6'5", 215. Veteran up front, Scott Urick, Andy Flick, and Peter Velopek, all seniors on that attack line. And they'll mix and match on the midfield. Flick and Urick, co-captains up front.
Scott Quint was saying before the game, Don Zimmerman was worried about his team's transition offense, turning the ball over a lot and clearing, but that time they had the ball on the offensive end and turned it over and squandered the first chance of the game.
They really have to make the possessions count in this game, and face-offs will be key too. They need to possess the ball because Georgetown has it. They know what to do with it.
And that time Scott Doyle lost the ball, but UMBC unable to regain possession.
And you better be careful with the penalties too, because Georgetown second in the nation, an extra man last year, and they're doing it again this year. Doyle shot wide.
Defensively for UMBC, you see John Smith, 25. He'll be on the ball. They've got Eric Hester, big tall kid in front, and Zach Burke. Those are three strong defenders. The problem with UMBC's defense thus far has been the midfield defense, where they have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing. They have some inexperience. They have some players who were former attackmen now playing midfield.
Velopek working behind the goal. Now they bring it back out on top. No score, just underway. It's UMBC at Georgetown, and there's a shot off the mark.
Already, Scott, 3 quick shots from Georgetown, and Dave Urick has to be happy with that. The placement of those shots not real well, but so far they have been the aggressive offensive team here.
Guys, we got to check on. We got a number 45 who's not listed on the roster. We'll try to find out who that is for the Hoyas.
The versatility of this Georgetown offense, that is its strength. They lost McCavro, the left-hander, from last season. They replaced him with Velopek, who redshirted. He's number 21. He's the lefty. Urick, one of the smarter players in the country, inside. And then you have Flick on the far side, the right-hander. Big, strong, much like in the mold of a Dan Denahan. And then they bring in the speed and the outside shooting ability of guys like Art Price, Brett Wagner, and Dussault, and Hanahan with his tremendous quickness. So this group of Georgetown, they're going to average 15 to 16 goals per game.
That was Hanahan. He gave it up to number 13, Steve Dussault, a sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. And there's a shot. And Retrievers come up with it.
Kusa with a pretty good save, yeah. Quint.
Kusa with a face save. Little jump shot action by Dussault, and he froze Kusa's stick, but he got the body to it.
And here's that part of the game where Don Zimmerman was worried about, and there you see why. A turnover from John Smith, and here comes Georgetown.
Hoyas gave it a look, and now they get it inside. Brett Wagner gives it up and now gets it back. Wagner, the sophomore from Calvert Hall, from Glen Arm, Maryland.
Explosive speed.
Yeah, they say he's a quick one.
Explosive. They start the first midfield being Price and those other players, but really Hanahan and Wagner, this is the most offensive midfield they have. These guys are the big-time threats.
And there's the shot by Hanahan, an honorable mention All-American and second-team preseason All-American this year.
Quint, what happens on the clear situations? We saw John Smith turn it over. Don was telling you before the game that's a cause of concern.
And we got a shot and a goal. Andy Flick flicks one past Steve Kusa, and Georgetown's on the board.
Flick unassisted, the 95th career goal in his career. It's just a strong move to the cage on the far side. Watch it again. This is the tail end. Flick beats his man towards the inside. He beats John Smith. Watch it, left-handed, switch back to his right. There's no help for UMBC. You can see the defenders in front watching their men. Georgetown doing a good job of occupying their man defensively, making the slide, the double team difficult.
So in every half that UMBC has played so far this season, they have given up the first goal. So it's no fun playing from behind against an explosive team like Georgetown.
Brian Lawton of Broadneck wins that faceoff, so we'll see what UMBC can do now. But Scott, Georgetown's attack already this year, 36 goals, and they played 4 games plus 5 minutes. That's unbelievable. Very senior oriented and senior experienced.
Lawton has the ability from the faceoff X to keep UMBC in this ball game, winning 67%.
That's Chris Ogle with it, number 19, a junior. Played at Falston High School.
Scott, UMBC 17 local players. Don Zimmerman done a real good job of keeping the kids at home.
Good pass there and a shot to score from Ratcliffe. But a nice assist pass as Charlie Gibson got it inside and Ratcliffe put it away.
Perfect execution by UMBC. They countered the Georgetown goal. They win the faceoff, get the ball behind. Real patient setup here. You'll see Gibson just pop the ball inside to the Canadian finisher, Radcliffe, who had such a sensational sophomore season. Last year he was banged up a bit, but no one better from in front of the goal than that man right there, Jeff Radcliffe from Western Canada. He's used to shooting on that small Canadian indoor box goal, and you open up and you come outside to the 6x6, and it looks just real big. But Gibson with the assist to Radcliffe.
So UMBC ties it up only 52 seconds after Georgetown scored their first goal. Number 45, by the way, Trevor Walker. We have run down the unidentified man. Georgetown, we said, a Final Four team last year, and they've progressed the last 3 years in the tournament, taking it one step further each year, and some think this is the year they could reach the championship game.
Yeah, despite losing Greg McCaver, who we mentioned at the top of the show, first team All-American, but they return a lot of firepower, as we've talked about.
See, you can hear the communication out there. A lot of talking going on both offensively and defensively.
McCaver last year's got 46 goals, 42 assists.
Boy, Urick getting some attention. Good pass in front and falling down and firing Velopek. And a penalty marker's down. Pretty good effort from Velopek, losing his footing and just fired as he was going down.
A masterful catch for him to scoop that off the short hop, and then he spun. I think he might have hit the post with the shot or hit a body in front. Here he is. This is after the catch. Watch the shot will bounce.
Now,
And then hits the defenseman or Kusa.
Yeah, it looked like Kusa got a stick on it, Quinn.
But Velopek real quick on the near side.
We got a timeout, 9:01 to play in the first quarter. We're tied at 1. UMBC at Georgetown. Well, we're only a couple of minutes into this one, tied at 1, and that's good news for Don Zimmerman and his team. They answered the Georgetown goal, and they'll be happy to stay close,
Absolutely.
right? And then go after them in the fourth quarter.
UMBC will have the extra man right now off that foul in front of the goal. Their extra man this season, 39%.
Certainly, I would think, guys, that one of the difficult adjustments when you have new players is a situation like this where timing's so important, continuity so important on the extra man.
Georgetown opponents only successful 1 of 18 times, so they have fought off the penalties. There's a pretty good look in front and a shot in the score. Dan Marol went down low and brought it home, his 7th goal of the year, and UMBC's on top 2-1.
Marol, the magician, on the far side. UMBC changing their formations, and they kick the ball to the far side. Watch Marol take this first check, change directions, and then fire it. Right here, does a little pump fake. The defense is a little over-aggressive, and then Marol drops his stick to the turf and goes top shelf by Schroeder. Welcome to the big league, Schroeder.
Yeah.
Marol, just a magician with the stick. They call him the Lizard because he loves to collect lizards
Reptiles.
and snakes. and he really is a magician out there. It's incredible to watch.
Battle off the face-off. Ball still rolling loose, and Georgetown up with it. The long stick. Jesnicki came up with it.
Lawton got a real good piece of that ball, and UMBC had a real good chance to get the face-off, but instead, Georgetown nearly scored a cheap goal there. Mentioned Marol, guys, his brother Steve, of course, the UMBC's all-time leading scorer here at UMBC.
Class of 92.
Yep, from St. Mary's. Boy, they produced some quality lacrosse players down there.
And they have a bunch of them on this UMBC roster.
One time they were undefeated 2 years in a row in the mid-90s.
Pretty good defense from the Retrievers. They've got a 2-1 lead. Scored 2 unanswered goals here after Georgetown scored first. Andy Flick.
Yes, Scotty, as Brett Wagner goes behind the goal, UMBC did a good job of turning back that first onslaught.
They were unable to clear it, and Brett Wagner got a second chance and fired a bullet.
Kusa made the first save. You see the defense for UMBC. That's Zach Burke, senior captain.
Burke, another St. Mary's grad.
Burke, he's more suited to cover the lefty. That's why he's covering Velopek.
That's Steve Dusso, number 13. Sophomore from Columbus. Now they come up top to Hanahan. Honorable mention All-American in '99 and a preseason second-team All-American this year. Tell you what, Scott Ulrich's getting, Urick's getting a lot of attention.
A lot of attention,
Every
sure.
time he's come close to the ball, there have been 2 retrievers.
He has a short stick. No, he has a long stick on him, but he's got 47 goals last year, a single-season record. That's unbelievable.
Penalty marker down and a shot off the pipe.
Well, Urick drew the double team, found his teammate in front. That was Dussault, and Dussault pinged the pipe. penalty on the play, a slash by UMBC. So we will see the vaunted Georgetown extra man.
You know, we see Dussault from Columbus, Ohio, Upper Arlington. We mentioned Brendan Shook, a couple of other guys. They are producing quietly some legitimate big-time players in this sport.
They've got Mark Kuntz, who starts for Virginia on defense, Brendan Shook, and then England, defender from Loyola.
England,
all
yeah.
played together at Upper Arlington in Ohio on the same defense. I mean, 3 Division I top-notch players.
They do more than play football.
Absolutely,
out there.
but they were all pretty good football players.
Georgetown with the extra man, and there's a great save.
Bakusa up to the challenge early, Quint, but he is getting peppered and has survived.
7 of 17 on the extra man is Georgetown. They've converted just over 41%. Urick, good pass, tough angle and an extra pass, and a shot in the goal by Peter Velopek. What great passing. Unselfish play.
Urick to flick to Velopek, slicing the defense with those diagonal passes. UMBC with their sticks up, not effective in deflecting those passes. Friday night we saw a Syracuse defense who was just blocking passes. This is a great example. The first pass, and then we see the second pass, and you see Velopek, a good point. Look at the way he just fires the ball into the back of the net, not taking any chances, just absolutely drilling it.
Had the whole goal to work with too.
Exactly, but terrific ball movement. Urick to flick, down low to Velopek.
Yeah, you could really see their continuity there. Their 4 years of playing together on that sequence.
Mike Canick wins the draw. We're tied at 2, a little over 6 minutes to play in the first quarter on the turf here at Georgetown. Last year these two teams played down here. We did the game in the rain on the grass field.
It was a terrible day for weather conditions and for UMBC.
Scott Doyle gives it up behind the goal to Velopek.
11-6 Georgetown won that game last year. That was the only time, Scott, in 10 games Georgetown has beaten UMBC.
There's a left-hand shot on goal and a save made by Steve Kusa.
And once again, Quint, the problems clearing the ball. And it looks like that Dave Urick has scouted this team well, and they're going to pressure the ball when the defense gets it every time, every chance they get.
The 3 attack, and that's what they do so well. Flick and Urick are hustlers. I mean, we've talked about them as goal scorers, but they make things happen when UMBC is clearing the ball. So that time, they got on their man, they shut the goalie off. There really was no opening for Zach Burke and the turnover. And you can generate a lot of offense off that forechecking.
May hear one of the planes from Reagan National Airport going overhead.
Good check up there as Flick took a hit. And a penalty marker down as Urick fires.
Urick was pounded on the face mask. You can see him adjusting his helmet, but he was slashed in the head as he turned and fired left-handed. Georgetown now will go up on the second extra man. Real tough to stop them. Watch this slash in the replay here. You'll see the ball passed in front to Urick, and I think that's Hester. Clubbed him right in the skull. Easy call by the officials. So we see the Georgetown extra man. Tough to stop because of the versatility. They can burn you. Urick, Flick, Velopek, they have a lot of different weapons.
And the familiarity, as Keith mentioned. 3 seniors that have been through the wars together. 4-year starter Flick, a 3-year starter in Urick. And Velopek, who redshirted in '99, and there's a shot in the goal, and Georgetown takes the lead 3-2.
Flick, that's Flick on the far side. The assist will go to Mike Hanahan, but Georgetown setting up with 2 players behind the goal and just content to make the short passes in front. Flick with time and room just stings the corner. What a beautiful shot.
And there's a timeout. 4:55 to play in the first quarter. Georgetown has moved on top, 3-2. Andy Flick with his second goal of the game has given Georgetown a 3-2 lead. You look at some of the fans out here on kind of a cool overcast day.
Blustery day. Dave Urick 10 Division III championships at Hobart, Quint, and as we get ready for the Toyota face-off, I don't care what league you play in, what level of competition, that's extraordinary.
Only 4 people have ever done it in the NCAAs in any sport to win 10 straight championships.
The guy is just a flat-out winner. You look at his percentage wherever, any situation he's been put in, he has emerged as a winner nearly 75% of his games.
You know what I really like about him? He was an all ECAC linebacker at Cortland State. So those linebackers, you know they're tough guys.
Cortland State, as we look at the face-off, won this time again by UMBC. Morrell with a nice feed there.
Oh, and a save, but not the second time, and UMBC ties it up.
Yeah, Scotty, that's Brian Lawton who won the face-off, and as you said, Scotty, followed the shot up perfectly.
Watch the first shot. Schroeder goes down with a sensational save. The ball kicks directly back to Lawton, and he capitalizes on the second shot as Schroeder tries to dive. Here's the first one. Beautiful job by Schroeder to get down on that. Unfortunately for him, the rebound goes right to Lawton, and what a warrior Lawton is.
Quinn, I thought Morrell made the play, though. Made a great pass cross field, set that play up.
Very gutsy pass through traffic. Here's Lawton, the first goal of the season. The guy is only about 170 pounds. He can bench press 360 for that body weight, and he is on the field the entire game.
Speaking of a winner, he played for Clay White at Broadneck. They won back-to-back state championships. John Svek was on that team from Loyola. Jerry Case, who passed away a few years ago, the young guy from Loyola with meningitis, and
Guys,
he's a winner.
I don't know if we got a problem, but Flick scored his goal with 4:55 left, and Lawton has just scored. And
the clock hasn't moved, nor have they tied the score up on the scoreboard, so there might be a malfunction.
Frozen clock.
I think John Thompson may have taken the cables with him when he left the basketball program down here.
There you see the time left, and it was 4:55 on the goal from Flick that gave Georgetown the 3-2 lead, and then Lawton answers. Didn't take a lot of time, but I'm sure it took at least a second.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we mentioned Lawton a minute ago. Lawton, when Joey Case passed away a few years ago, Scott, as you know, we did a lot on that situation. Brian stood up and was one of the guys at Broadneck at that particular time that was one of the spokesmen, came out and it was just very classy, very mature in how he handled that horrendous situation. And I gained a lot of respect for him over that situation.
Let's take a look at the goal again. Lawton off the face-off came in. Schroeder made a terrific save, and then Lawton stuck with it. Well, there's the tail end of it. You really didn't see the goal there. Lawton finished it off and has his first goal of the year.
Yeah, obviously there's a scoreboard malfunction. That seems to be the delay here. But big play from UMBC, pulls it even at 3-3.
Face-offs.
Yeah.
Right now, Lawton can single-handedly, he and Kusa can keep UMBC in the ball game. If they don't foul, Georgetown's only has one goal at this point. So
the man with the air horn, they've turned the scoreboard off. You saw the gentleman with the air horn.
Do it like the old days. Yeah. Just like the rec leagues. Get the clock on the field.
So we do know that it is 3-3.
Air horn. I would
probably
wouldn't want to be standing next to that air horn when it goes off.
About 4:45 left in the quarter. So here comes the Retrievers back on the attack.
And again, Scotty Lawton wins the face-off.
Well, they said that would be key because they just can't afford to lose possessions to a high-octane team like Georgetown, and they're doing a good job. Good pass in the middle, but Radcliffe couldn't quite get the shot off. May have got a stick on him.
Yeah.
Morrell on the far side, looking for Radcliffe, who's money in the bank from the inside. The Georgetown defense getting there at the last second with the stick to force that shot wide.
Scott, we're seeing Colin Meerholtz, number 14, who just had the ball. He was kind of put on the bench to start this game today. Don Zimmerman trying to shake things up. He had started early in the year, and him trying to get some offense.
Meerholtz is the guy who had 5 shots and 5 goals.
Right.
He tied a school record with 3 extra man goals in that game. The sophomore from Northern, that was at Mount St. Mary's.
UMBC,
that's a pretty good percentage.
No doubt about it.
5 shots.
Make a lot of money if he was playing baseball, batting 5 for 5. UMBC just warding off call, I believe, on that, Quint.
Charlie Gibson, yeah.
And here come the Hoyas back on the attack. Do so with it. 13 goals as a freshman for him.
See that turnover stat. I'm sure that's a stat Don Zimmerman will look closely at today. As Georgetown does the same, turns it right back over.
Retrievers pushing it. The long stick.
And that time they clear the ball efficiently.
Harrison, he's got an excellent shot. We saw him light it up last year.
Mike Hicks on that clear for UMBC. Former midfielder, now playing with the long stick. He's got speed and he can handle. They need to get the ball to their shorties, have them run it over, or Hicks, who's got good speed.
Hicks from Michigan.
Yeah.
Your neck of the woods.
Nova, I believe.
Yeah.
Adam Shiley trying to spin away from the traffic. Dangerous pass there. And a tough one for Josh Hahn to handle. Down on his shoes.
And that's Roger Corbett with the ball. Has it stripped by himself.
Now UMBC with an opportunity here. Pass in front, and they can't get it to Merholz.
Nice check. Getting back was Chris Tully,
And Merholz
senior defenseman for Georgetown out of the Gilman.
I think Merholz in the crease on that one.
Prior to the play, Merholz ran through the crease afterwards. Tully made the check. It was a real nice hustling play by Tully, but there was a flag dropped on the far side during the scrap. And so UMBC is going to have a man advantage.
During the scrap.
during the scrum on the far side. It got ugly.
I like that.
Colbert had it, and
I like that.
Real hustling attack by
Absolutely.
UMBC. Got the ball on the ground, and then they almost converted in transition.
I like UMBC's attack. When they get it on attack, they're gambling. They're going after it. They're not really controlling the tempo. They're trying to make some plays here.
Yeah, you got to be impressed with UMBC. They've come out here. They've scored some goals. You got the clock working again. Score is wrong, but the clock is right. 2.5 minutes left.
Georgetown now shutting off Dan Morrell behind the goal.
There's a shot wide of the mark from Hahn.
The two-man backup from UMBC that time retains possession.
Georgetown now content to play 4 against 5.
Oh, and a good play. Harrison stepped in the passing lane. But we've got another penalty marker down.
It's going to be a slash
yep.
against Jeff Radcliffe for UMBC. So after UMBC burned Georgetown with Dan Morrell scoring on their first extra man, Coach Urick says, hey, you may try to beat us, but you're not going to have Dan Morrell involved in the offense. They shut him off. It proves effective. And then Radcliffe comes up with a slashing penalty. So these teams will be at even strength for a bit, and then Georgetown will have the extra man when their initial penalty, the time expires.
Score tied at 3, 2:07 to play in the first quarter. Georgetown 4-0, ranked number 4. UMBC 1-2. Their win at Mount St. Mary's. Back behind the goal, they work it. Out top to do so. Now they've got a man advantage as Hennahan comes back on the field. He's got the ball. Pass into the middle and a jump shot and a score. Steve Dusso. Didn't take them long once they got the extra man. The pass into the middle, and Dusso gives the Hoyas a 4-3 lead.
Dusso, only a sophomore, 7th goal of the season, the 20th of his career, one of the highest recruited players of his class. Watch this jump shot, just turns and fires high to low. So tough for the goalie to save that when the shot comes from a high release point down below. Sensational offense by Georgetown now in the extra man. They are 3 of 3 on their extra man opportunities.
And it looked like Tashagny on that play wasn't in bad position, Quinn. It was just a pretty good shot. The Toyota face-off again won by Georgetown.
Brett Wagner with it.
Explosive young player from Calvert Hall. A chance to
Good
talk.
soccer player, too.
Very good soccer player. His mom and dad in attendance today.
Minute 10 left in the first quarter. And here come the Retrievers, but they can't clear it. Bad pass. And let's see if Georgetown can cash in on the mistake. Wagner trying to use his speed to run around the defense, but a pretty good job by Eric Hester.
Yeah, Scott, and with 50 seconds left, be interesting to see if Georgetown kind of holds it here.
Those turnovers as a goalie, you make that save, it looks like you have a break, but Georgetown did a great job at dropping back, and that turnover on that outlet pass can really be
just kind of threw a lollipop.
Killer. Exactly.
And already, guys,
killer.
3 or 4 turnovers in unsettled situations. That's really hurt UMBC so far.
Dusso dodging, firing, and scoring, and he's got the hat trick.
Dussault on fire, and Kusa only has himself to blame for that entire possession by the poor outlet pass. But Dussault making things happen on the far side, rolls, and this time he fires high. As we mentioned earlier, he takes that straight overhand motion on the earlier goal. The ball comes low. This time, the same overhand motion, and the ball comes high. So Dussault gifted in the fact that he's using some deception in his shooting technique. His second goal.
Second, yeah, I said a hat trick. That's just his second goal.
Second in a row for Dussault.
And that time he turned around Brian Lawton, who was facing off here in the Toyota face-off. And Georgetown will be called for the hold, so UMBC with 15 seconds left will go for it.
There's a hat trick.
The original hat trick.
Final seconds of the first quarter, 5-3. The Hoyas on top.
Good
And
shot.
it's a shot wide and 1 second left.
Radcliffe screening the goalie on that last play. That outside shot.
Yeah, Eric Barger with
That
the
outside shot can be dangerous with a screen.
So we played one at Georgetown. The Hoyas on top, 5-3. Well, Georgetown got a big advantage in the shots in the first period. They lead 5-3. Our Toyota face-off.
Concern for UMBC has got to be the fouls. Georgetown would not have the lead right now if it were not for the 3 UMBC fouls.
And that time Mike Koenig looked like he just kind of bodied Brian Lawton off the ball for the face-off win.
And there's a good save. Boy, Kusa got blistered on that one. Right out in front was Tamburino. But not this time. And the Hoyas go up top 6-3.
Flick to Velopek, and I tell you, Flick showed some real control and unselfishness on this play. We had a great angle because we are right behind where Flick, and we saw exactly what Flick saw, and it looked as if he was going to shoot. And somehow he saw Velopek parked in the back pipe. Look at it right here. That's a beautiful angle, terrific replay. And you can see how easy it is to be a left-handed attackman when you have unselfish right-handed players.
Absolutely.
I would love to be in Velopek's spot, backside, getting that feed. And Flick, we've seen his shooting ability, but that time showed just an accurate and unselfish pass.
Well, this one's starting to slip away here. The Retrievers need to buckle down.
And this is a big quarter for Georgetown, Scott. They have outscored their opponents as Scott Urich adds another goal. 18-7 coming into this game in second quarters.
Scott Urich adds to his total. As Keith said, he set a school record last year with 47 goals. Hit 4 goals against Butler and came in with 112 career goals.
Off the face-off, Kanek wins it, brings it down. This looks like what's called a flat break, where the players will set up across the field as opposed to the old-fashioned L. And Urich capitalizes 7-3, 4 straight goals for Georgetown. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout from UMBC.
Those 2 goals in this quarter came just 14 seconds apart.
So they've outscored opponents 20-7 now in second quarters, and Don Zimmerman obviously wants to stop this run. Quint, you played for him at Johns Hopkins. Obviously, Zim knows the X's and O's. What's he got to do, as Ed Stevenson talking to his team now, what do they have to do to turn this thing around?
Well, first of all, they can't foul. They've got to win some face-offs. And I think you got to make the complementary players from Georgetown beat you. Really clamp down on Flick and Urich. And Dussault, and try to make them beat you with some other guys. But this Georgetown team, they're loaded. They have some weapons.
And Kusa is playing well, I think. Kusa is keeping them in the game. It's a 4-goal spread now, and if he's not up to his game, it's a 10-3 lead here instead of 7.
And I think they're capable, Quint, if teams do what you're saying, clamp down on the Urichs and Flicks, the Henahans, Wagners, Dussaults, the midfielders can't score.
Absolutely. We saw Tamburino, another Calvert Hall product, take that first shot in that last sequence, and then Velopek fed, or Flick fed Velopek. So you have all kinds of different ways you can attack the goalie on this team.
Yeah, Georgetown's going to be a tough team to get a line on this year, I believe. You look at their schedule, and it's not a top 15 schedule. They're undefeated right now. They could easily be 5 or 6-0 heading into a Duke game, which would be competitive. They play games with Stony Brook, Hobart, UMass, Rutgers. Those are a bunch of wins. And then they end the season at Syracuse.
They could be undefeated.
They could theoretically, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how the season plays out. I think they're an extremely talented team.
Saw the Retrievers had a shot there.
UMBC gets the off the faceoff. They'll get the ball. That's number 18, Eric Barger. He'll trigger the offense and in desperate need of a goal here.
Flick, Velopek, and Duso all with 2 goals each as the Hoyas lead at 7-3. And UMBC trying to stop the bleeding now. The Retrievers were up 2-1. Across the field pass.
Barely. Yeah.
Down the middle to Shiley.
Shiley, a good-looking sophomore, Scott, also from St. Mary's.
UMBC unable to just get anything going in front of the cage now. There's a quick stick shot by Shiley.
Yeah, Shiley actually grew up and lives across the Eastern Shore, lives across the bridge in Centerville.
Shiley banged his knee up last season, red-shirted.
Up top it comes and firing down low and wide the mark.
Yeah, Marol with a missile there, Scott. Kind of looked like one of the few chances he's had, he was going to take advantage of it.
Marol has never met a shot that he didn't like.
Hey, you have to have that mindset, though, as a goal scorer.
Exactly. Goal scorers have that mentality. He's got to handle the ball a bit more, I think, in this set. They're attacking the short sticks behind the cage right now. Tamburino and Gallagher, the 2 Georgetown short sticks.
You hear all the communication going on. And that shot deflected straight up in the air, and coming down for it for the Hoyas is Schroeder.
Solid defensive possession for Georgetown. It started with Gallagher playing some outstanding defense.
Here comes Colbert with the long stick and his shot wide right.
Yeah, Roger Colbert, number 6, you see right there, nearly stole a goal there.
Colbert out of the Petty School, which is in New Jersey off of 95 as you head up towards Philadelphia. But Colbert made a great slide, blocked that shot off of his head. Schroeder showed some awareness in the goal, came out, made the rebound. So a real nice team defensive possession. A bunch of different guys making plays for Georgetown.
Hoyas lead 7-3, second quarter, 12:25 to play in the half.
And again, the pressure on the UMBC defense.
Flick from a tough angle and hit the side of the net.
From no angle, really.
Velopek, yeah.
If that would have went in, there was a hole in that.
Got to be left-handed to take that shot.
You hear the constant communication going on defensively and offensively.
Guys, we talked with Monroe with the ball about, anybody can play this game. You don't have to be 6'5" or weigh 250 pounds, but Monroe, 6'2", 165, one of the real good players in the game.
Yeah.
He's a lean machine, Keith.
Yes, he is. Very tall.
He's the offensive quarterback, the feeder, the scorer.
They come in all shapes and sizes out on the lacrosse field.
Good defense. Retrievers with some patience and a bouncer off the top pipe. And Colbert again.
And that time, Quinn, I thought he wisely dishes it off to number 13, Duso.
Duso with a shot on goal, a save made by Kusa.
Kusa with a kick save, and we got some end-to-end action. UMBC got the shot they wanted. Yes. They isolated against Wagner and Duso. Ball hit the post.
Here's Dan Marol. Oh. Schroeder couldn't find it.
Oh, nice play, or a good attempt.
And now a sloppy pass, and UMBC takes advantage of that. Oh, good pass in front. Shot knocked down by the defense, and here comes Georgetown. Had a good pass, just couldn't get the shot off.
End-to-end, you're right, Quinn, but again, a solid defensive stand there by Georgetown. Looked like UMBC had cracked the defense, Scotty.
Terrific goal play at both ends. Schroeder making that save between his legs. The ball dropped to the ground.
Looked like Velopek just didn't look the ball in there.
Velopek, exactly. Velopek looking for the free safety before he made that catch.
Retrievers trail 7-3. They're in possession.
There's the double team.
Lawton plays it back to Chris Ogle. Timeout called.
Yeah, I think Zim Quint knows this is a big possession. To get one back here with 9:45 left would really be a boost to his team's morale.
We're going to step out. Georgetown on top 7-3. The Hoyas on top. There's our question. Is this our question or answer?
That's a LAXcom.
.com trivia question for today is Bill Tierney, Princeton, Tony Seaman Towson, and Dave Urick, Georgetown, among the lacrosse coaches that graduated from the sport's so-called cradle of coaches. Name the school.
If you were listening,
I'm going to take a very educated guess in a couple of minutes.
Here's Marol coming hard on the wing. They ride him past the goal.
Hit the side,
yeah. Retrievers thought they had a goal. They started cheering on the bench. And coming hard is Colbert. The long stick gives it up. Pass in front. Another pass. There's the extra pass.
Oh, Kusa, great play.
He met the challenge that time.
with a huge save.
He got about 5 pumps from Hammer.
Right. Stuffing Mike Hammer on the far side. Flick with a sensational pass again. Colbert started the whole break and went down to Flick across to Mike Hammer, who was substituting for Velopek.
Well, we've seen about 3 times, guys. They have a good shot and they get a better one.
And they pass across the tree, Scott. Make the extra pass. But how about Colbert? We saw Joe Seglia and Marshall Abrams do that for Syracuse the other night. And Colbert is right with them in terms of agility. What a weapon that is.
Up top, Scott Doyle with it. Hammer running. That gives it up.
Scott Hammer from the same high school as Scott Urick. Robinson High in Fairfax.
Flick drawing a lot of attention from the long pole.
Interesting to see how the coaches use their freshmen in this game, in the college game. Pick their spots.
Doyle trying to work in. Try to get it to Urick, but good defense, and the Retrievers come up with it.
Let's see if they can clear. Nice little defensive stand by UMBC.
And here they go. Eric Hester.
Yeah, Quint, that time the UMBC clear does the job. And really what was almost a crucial possession there.
This is Colin Merholtz, the sophomore. We talked about his game against Mount St. Mary's. 5 shots, 5 goals. 3 extra man goals, tied a school record.
That is a pretty good percentage. But that was Eric Hester on that clear from Hereford High School. Second time he's done that today.
Luke Gilbert now, freshman from Hereford High School.
Hereford grows him big because Gilbert's 6'4", 175. And the aforementioned Hester, 6'5", 195. So they're a bunch of tall kids from Hereford.
Good solid athletic program up there. Football team won a state championship 2 years ago.
Charlie Gibson with 7 minutes left in the half. 7-3 Hoyas. Slowed the pace down somewhat, and that's probably a good thing for UMBC. Laying down and scoring, number 10, Charlie Gibson. He got knocked to the turf, but fired past Scott Schroeder, and it's a 7-4 game.
Nifty dodge by Gibson on the far side. He gets a step. Not bad defense. You can't ask for much more than that, but from such close range, the margin of error if you're a goaltender is not much, and this ball just trickles past Schroeder, the Georgetown goalie. Charlie Gibson, important goal. UMBC, they stopped the bleeding. Remember, Georgetown was on a 4-0 run. They got a defensive stand or two. They handled the ball better in the middle of the field, and good things are going to happen. So, nice little turning point there for Coach Zimmerman off of that timeout a couple minutes ago.
And they follow it up by winning the faceoff. So things looking up a little bit.
Here's Lawton, Scott.
Coming
very capable, as we saw earlier, scoring a goal.
He's got some good burst.
Yes, good speed, good athlete.
7-4 game, 6.5 to play in the first half. Georgetown 4-0, ranked number 4. UMBC 1-2 on the year.
You know, Scotty, I think what we've seen, just like baseball, you're only as good as your next pitcher. Well, in this sport, you're as good as your next face-off.
Yeah.
Even though UMBC turned it over, they had some momentum briefly.
Kyle Sweeney with the long stick brought it up. Now it's loose in front, and the Retrievers back with it. Oh, big hit. Unloading was Phil Vincenti. Or was it Flick?
Actually, it was Flick.
Yeah, it was 24.
And really, I don't think UMBC did him any favors.
Guys, we're going to have to break away from the game for this news update. Let's go back to the Channel 2 newsroom. Welcome back. 7-4. Georgetown leads UMBC. 3:15 to play. UMBC trying to fight off a penalty. Oh, what a great pass by the long stick as he dropped it back in front, and they almost got a score out of it.
Stole one there.
It looked like Zach Burke going to shoot, and what amounted to a drop pass.
Yeah, to Brian Lott.
Like a hockey drop pass right to
You see
Lott.
Burke huffing and puffing coming back. Exceptional
Nice
effort.
touch.
Yeah,
Nice touch.
Nice, yeah.
You notice in the young kids, I guess, when you're knifing through with the long pole, stick your stick out long, and it's difficult to check.
Georgetown with the extra man. You see them double teaming the ball.
Dan Morrell trying to get out of that double.
That's one way to get out of it. Drop it back and pick it up.
Tough
And
pass.
sloppy pass.
Prepares him. He can't short hop it, and here come the Hoyas.
Just sloppy the last 2 minutes.
You're going to be yelling backside. Andy Flick gets it over there. Velopek getting hammered back there.
Yes.
Really getting worked over. Good defense by UMBC. That was Dave Smith. And the Hoyas going to take a timeout with 2:33 left to play here in the first half. Georgetown on top 7-4. Let's check out our trivia. Bill Tierney, of course, coach at Princeton. Tony Seaman, the Towson U coach, and Dave Urich here at Georgetown are among the coaches that graduated from the sport's so-called cradle of coaches. Name the school. A lax.com trivia question. There it is, Cortland State in New York.
Cortland, New York. Sort of close to where we were this
Yeah, we drove
weekend.
by there this weekend.
Driving up 83 to 81. And the sun was actually shining in Syracuse.
Yes,
for a
indeed.
change. You guys saw Syracuse at its best.
Hey, look,
Keith stepped through the snowbank
Yes,
though on the way.
yes, we did.
Had water up to his ankles.
local soccer fans will remember Scott Manning, the all-pro goalkeeper for the Blast. He was a Cortland State grad.
There's footage of Scott.
Yeah,
now,
there's
actually.
Scotty playing.
Working on his short game.
Neighboring field here at Kehoe Stadium.
So 2:33 left. 7-4 Hoyas. Georgetown goes to work. Steve Dusso's got a couple of goals in the first half with the ball. Comes near side to Henahan. Now they get it in front. Flick. Oh, and they have trouble handling the pass. Dusso gives chase, but it's UMBC's ball with 2:12 left, Clint.
UMBC, they're making stops defensively. Remember, 3 of Georgetown's 7 goals have been scored on the extra man. Otherwise, UMBC's defense has done a fine job. The fact of the matter is they're playing too much defense. They need to really clean up their clearing and maintain some possessions, get some longer possessions on offense. The turnovers are even, but UMBC's turnovers have been in their defensive end as opposed to Georgetown's, which have occurred on the offensive end.
This is Chris Ogle. Gives it up to Hahn. Under 2 minutes left now. Keith making his way down the field. We'll hear from both coaches during the half. Adam Shiley. No big hurry for the Retrievers.
As you see so often now in college lacrosse, the offensive team will go behind the net with the ball, isolating against what we call the short stick defenders. In this case, number 29, Matt Gallagher, and number 16, Art Price for Georgetown.
Shiley with the pass comes loose to midfield. Little kick save there at midfield. And it looks like the Hoyas come up. Good check. The ball trickles loose and Velopek hustles after it.
Hester made a nice play there for UMBC, stepping up the field and creating some body contact with Kyle Sweeney, the freshman for Georgetown. But on the far side, Velopek was there to pick up the loose ball. So
time left in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, 48 seconds. He was thinking about it.
Look for UMBC to slide quickly here. This is a mismatch. Radcliffe and Attackman.
Flick got hit from behind and then got drilled. Adam Shiley really laid the wood to him, and a penalty marker's down.
This was a vicious hit. I hope we have a replay on the near side. This was high and this was intense. Watch this. It looks like it might be a cross check to the neck. Watch it right here. Oh gosh, cross check to the head.
Like he took a stick to the head followed by a body that just destroyed him.
Oh my gosh.
We saw the hit
Absolute.
A.J. Hogan took Friday night up at Syracuse, and that was about as nasty as you're going to see, and that one wasn't too far behind.
Lacrosse has come a 12-month-a-year training sport for these athletes. They lift weights, they run, and we've seen the results of that increased physical training. The last 3 weeks, we've seen 3 incredible hits. The Loyola Duke game, Friday night, up in the dome, and then that hit right there was just brutal.
There's a shot, and it's wide. Andy Flick fired hard and high, but wide right, and 10 seconds left in the half. Retrievers trying to fight off the penalty.
Look for Georgetown just to hold this ball, and then when we start the second half, they will maintain possession. So with a penalty situation, possession carries over through a half or a quarter.
6 against 5, and they'll come out with the extra man. So we're at halftime. The Hoyas from Georgetown looking to go 5-0. They lead UMBC 7-4.
Georgetown had a nice lead there, 7-3, but UMBC the last 10 minutes, I think, got their act together.
All right, let's go down to the field and Keith Mills.
Yeah, guys, with me, Don Zimmerman. Don, you guys play so hard, so tough. You're only down 3. You gave them some chances early, but you stopped the bleeding, and you really played a solid last couple of minutes.
Yeah, our guys are trying awfully hard, and we're young, and we make some young mistakes. But, we've got to understand that, the second chances that we give because of just, turnovers are what's been hurting us all year, and they're hurting us today. So hopefully we can get that straightened out in the second half, keep playing hard, play a little smarter, and see if we can't, just improve on our overall game.
Okay, Don Zimmerman, thank you. He'll be heading over to talk to his team down 7-4. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Union Memorial Sports Medicine, outstanding in the field. Lax World, the lacrosse superstore, and U.S. Lacrosse, the support behind the sport.
We're back at Georgetown. The Hoyas on top 7-4. Quint, about what you expected the first half?
Yeah, UMBC, as Coach Zimmerman said, a little sloppy in the clearing, and then they tended to foul too much. Remember, this score would be tied right now if not Georgetown's ability to score 3 extra man goals. Positives for that UMBC squad, they've held Georgetown scoreless for the last 14 minutes.
All right, as you look at the Retrievers, they're not only active on the field, but active off the field in our community. More on that from Rick White.
Now, most of the times when you see me do a halftime piece, it's about the crunch and munch of lacrosse. It's about the ins and outs, the scoring and stuff like that. But for this story with UMBC players, this is a horse of a different color. The lacrosse team at UMBC is giving back to the community by volunteering their time to do work with kids that have physical and cognitive disabilities. The Patapsco Horse Center sets up the program where the kids have a ticket to ride, but they need volunteers to walk with the riders.
Our kids do everything from getting the horses out of the yards, bringing them in, saddling them up, getting them ready, grooming them, and then they come out and work with the kids, and it's a great experience.
Have a chance to give to some other people who I love. I really enjoy working with the kids. I think the kids are great. They're really enjoying themselves up on top of the world, on top of a horse. It's pretty neat.
And not only is the experience neat, these kids are getting the physical exercise they need to help their bodies.
I separated my shoulder last year, so I had to go through a type of rehab. I mean, for these kids, this is their rehabilitation. And it's great watching them get up there. And some of them, they aren't in a great, best mood when they come over here. But by the time we leave, they're smiling because they're controlling that horse. It's 10 times bigger than they are. I think they get a lot out of having that self-control.
But the biggest kick is the interaction between the kids and the athletes.
I don't think they knew what they were getting into, and quite a few of our riders with disabilities have physical and cognitive disabilities, and it's more rewarding, as rewarding for the volunteers as it is for the riders. And we've seen quite a few tear-eyed with accomplishments and lots of smiles. They get a lot out of it, I think.
Tina, I think you're right.
Nice job, Rick, and a nice job by the UMBC Retrievers. It's more than just playing lacrosse. Great to see them get involved like that, Quinn.
Yeah, that piece by Rick really puts the whole thing in perspective. You know, these are student athletes, and lacrosse is just a tiny, tiny piece of who they are and what they're about.
This week's Union Memorial Sports Medicine Outstanding in the Field Scholar Athlete is Mike Hicks. Mike's is a UMBC senior majoring in geography and carrying a 3.57 grade point average. Union Memorial Sports Medicine congratulates scholar athlete Mike Hicks for being outstanding in the field. Way to go, Mike. 7-4 is our halftime score. The Hoyas on top of the Retrievers. We'll be back right after this.
The Toyota Halftime Report is brought to you by Toyota, making it happen every day.
Velopek, Urick, and Dusso with 2 goals each for Georgetown. 4 different players for goals for UMBC. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights.
A high-scoring first quarter. The teams were tied at 3 when on the extra man, Dusso got the feed from Urick, and he bounces the ball past Steve Kusa. That made it 4-3, late stages of the first quarter in favor of Georgetown. And then Dusso doing it all by himself, unassisted on the far side, beating Kusa high on that. That was 5-3 after the first quarter. And then the second quarter, UMBC really gaining some momentum when Charlie Gibson scored to make it 7-4, unassisted, beating Schroeder. So 7-4 UMBC. And watch this hit. This is how he ended the first half. Just an absolute blatant foul by Shiley, clubbing Flick, the top goal scorer for Georgetown. So when we come back, Georgetown is going to have the extra man.
Look like some of the hits you made for the Thunder last year.
Oh, yeah, it looks like some of the hits I took for the Thunder.
There you see some of the numbers, 29-15 in shots, and turnovers about even there. But the penalties, of course, have cost UMBC. Let's go down to Keith.
Here with me is Hall of Famer Dave Urick. And Dave, you're up 3, but boy, this is a dogfight. I think you know it. I think your players know it. Is that what you told them at the half?
Well, we fully expected it. You know, they've had a lot of time to get ready for us, and I think when Donnie has enough time to get ready, he can make it tough on anybody. He's got a well-coached team.
What did you tell your team at the half?
Well, just keep trying to get back where we were early, and get our our share of shots. A lot of them didn't fall. Their kids doing a nice job in the cage, but we got to get the tempo back up where it maybe favors us a little bit and take advantage of our shots.
Okay, Dave Urick, the head coach at Georgetown, his team leading by 3. We'll be back with the Toyota second half face-off when we come back. Thanks, Dave.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Lax.com. Stuff for junkies. Union Memorial Sports Medicine, outstanding in the field. And Laxnet.com. If you can't catch the game on TV, click on Laxnet.com.
Scott Garceau, Keith Mills, and Quint Kesnick with you from Georgetown. Hoyas lead 7-4 as we get ready for the second half. Thought one of the keys, Quint, was Dave Urick says, we want to up-tempo it more, get into that running game. I thought in the second quarter, UMBC did a good job to get them out of that. Yeah, they did. They possessed the ball a little better. Their defense, when they're not a man down, has been pretty solid. I mean, holding a team like Georgetown to 4 all-even goals and a half of lacrosse is pretty darn good. An extra man now for Georgetown as we start the second half. Around the perimeter, Velopek. See the UMBC defense sliding. Boy, how did that get through there? Urick back out on top, and a laser. Oh boy, there's a little heat on that one. That was fired by Scott Doyle.
Scott Doyle bringing the heat from about 15 yards.
Glad you're not between the pipes anymore when you see shots like that.
These kids can shoot so much faster now than they could 10 years ago.
There's a shot and a score. Second time around. Doyle missed the first, but not the second time. And the Hoyas jump out with the quick goal and lead 8-4.
Doyle's second goal of the year. We could see the power he had behind a shot on the first shot, but here he's getting some help in front. You see number 30, Urick, as a partial screen. He gains some leverage right-handed, just leans in and shows the superior strength from about 11 yards. Great accuracy. And again, Urick, a smart player, coach's son, positions himself so the goalie has to look around him. And just that little fraction of indecision by a goaltender on that kind of shot can be fatal.
They'd gone a quarter without scoring, basically.
And a nice play, guys, from Greg Wotek from UMBC coming up to scoop up that loose ball.
Now the Hoyas come back the other way on the run. Pass right out in front, and getting buried was Velopek.
In the crease, but
and he paid for it.
Terrific transition defense by UMBC. Georgetown had the 4-on-3 break. Velopek.
Boy, that was Shiley from behind.
Shiley always hustling on that play. Velopek caught it and gave two fakes, which gave Shiley the time to come down and make that play.
But interesting, guys, Scotty, Shiley was called for that penalty at the end of the half. Don Zimmerman called him over and said, you know, you got to learn against this team. You can't give them second chance opportunities, and it's a mental breakdown. And it basically his message was, we're young, we can't afford to do that.
And Quentin, I don't know if you heard us, Keith, Dave Urick saying, you know, we want to up-tempo this thing. UMBC did a good job in the second quarter to keep them from that run and gun up and down. And again, turnover.
How many times have we seen them drop the ball?
Trying to get it in front to Velopek, and the Retrievers up with it. Dan Marol gives it up. Zach Burke, and a shot and a score by Hahn.
Zach Burke, terrific judgment and execution. We could see on the first play, Kyle Sweeney for Georgetown, the long stick freshman, comes down and throws a tough bounce pass to Urick. You see what a senior can do for you. Zach Burke comes down, draws the defense, makes the easy, high percentage pass to Hahn, who finishes between the legs of Schroeder. The difference being, hey, make a good play. It doesn't always have to be the fancy play. Just make the simple play.
I wondered, Quint, why Marol gave the ball to him on that situation, but then again, it made Marol look like he made the wise move. Boy, interesting play there.
You had the give and go possibility then too, with Marol coming back, I guess.
Absolutely, but Marol stayed at half field because he was the other.
He didn't cross, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a good pass in front and down low, and they stopped him that time.
And Ratcliffe got leveled.
Ratcliffe tried to sneak that one on the inside pipe. Schroeder held his ground and then just got dusted he got hit.
Greg Papa.
Yeah, he got carried about 5 yards behind the cage.
Haven't talked about Papa too much. Went to the same high school that the Dennehan brothers did, Manhasset on Long Island. He's a big-time player. Maybe that's why we haven't mentioned him, because the defenders that do their job do it rather quietly.
Only goal of his career. Defenders don't score goals, and there's another turnover as the Retrievers cough it up. Merholtz just lost it. But his only goal of his career came in the game we did last year.
Yeah.
Here come the Hoyas. Doyle, who's just scored a goal, and he throws it wide and away from Velopek, and another turnover. So both teams sloppy now.
Did Kusa kind of deke him on that play? Quint, it looked like?
I think Kusa, I think he thought Velopek would move away from Kusa, because Kusa, the goalie for UMC, stepped out to maybe pick off that pass.
Yeah, maybe forced him to throw a little wider than he wanted.
Good check and a loose ball at midfield. And the Retrievers can't come up with it.
Someone pick it up.
Can anybody here play this game?
Big hit there. And another hit.
Back at him. Doyle came back, and penalty markers are down. Tit for tat.
Joey Kesterman got leveled.
Hester, I saw this whole play. At the end of this play, Hester was the last guy to get hit, number 20, and he'll take a slash. There's one. Urick gets
now watch
bumped.
Doyle come in.
And there's retribution, too. And now watch Hester get hit. Number 20 for UMBC. If you roll this, keep rolling it. Watch, right here's the penalty. Boom. Right there, the slash.
The retaliation.
Retaliation. It always, the last guy always gets caught. He always gets caught. There's what. This is great. Great little series. Like dominoes.
Great for us. We're not down there.
But you talk about a guy like Doyle taking care of his teammate. Urick gets dumped. He dumps the guy that dumped Urick.
That's one of the things we mentioned the other night when Hogan got dumped, that we really didn't see anybody go to his defense. The star player on the team took a vicious, maybe somewhat of a cheap shot.
Interesting.
But they'll be taking notes. They'll remember that.
They'll see each other again.
The lesson learned there is when you wind up and slash a guy after a scrum like that, the referees
Everybody's
really
there. No
exactly.
doubt about it.
The referees have already zeroed in. They've got their radar.
And Doyle fires and a good save.
Well, Kusa's playing a real quality game today.
Doyle's really got a hard shot. Ooh. There's a tough. You heard that.
Man, you heard it.
Into the pads, Quint. What was it? Let's hope that's pads.
Oh. Georgetown really moving the ball well in that last
Now it's
flurry.
loose at midfield.
Colbert in there again.
And the Retrievers come up with it. Got a man in front. Ratcliffe was there.
Oh,
now
what
they
a
get it to him, and he scores. Jeff Ratcliffe.
But
Pass came a little late, but it came.
And
The
it came
bounce
off the
pass,
turf.
exactly. Barger on the far side makes a sensational pass. The defense was there. The defense had to stick up in the passing lane. We talk about this all the time. But watch the bounce pass underneath. And 19 for Georgetown can't make the play. That's Sampson. Watch Sampson stick his up, anticipating the pickoff, and he just can't handle it.
Bounces over
and
his
Ratcliffe, from close range, as we said, the Canadian box player makes these opportunities count. So
That's a great
Barger,
play.
creative pass. You'd love to see that.
We
And
saw
Ratcliffe-
Syracuse use the turf on bounce passes the other night.
Yeah. Ratcliffe's second goal of the game. And hey, we got a good
Suddenly,
one. 8-6.
Suddenly, if you're Georgetown, you're wondering what we have to do to put this team away.
3 out of 4 UMBC goals, improved defense, and the courage of Kusa.
Kusa's playing.
Just standing
has to
on
be
his
the
head.
best. It has to be the best college game he's played.
Georgetown had a 7-3 lead. 8-6, and the Hoyas come up with the faceoff.
And we forgot to mention, guys, that was a man-down goal for UMBC, if I'm not mistaken. Was it not, Quint?
Was he released? Yeah.
He just got released, I believe.
Yeah, he just got released off that faceoff, so that was shorthanded. Team's back to even strength.
Hanahan, 22. Defense by 22. Brian Lawton.
UMBC has dodged a couple of bullets
And
today
there's
as
another turnover.
Georgetown gets sloppy, Scott. Now maybe there's some indecision on the Georgetown team here.
And the UMBC side going crazy. They're all fired up. They're back in this game. The Hoyas lead it 8-6. .9:43 left in the third quarter. Georgetown on top of UMBC 8-6, but momentum kind of going UMBC's way right now.
Momentum's such a big part of any sport, Scott, and really you have to like the way UMBC has battled back, particularly behind their goalie, Quint.
Whether it's hockey or lacrosse, anytime you get a shorthanded goal in a competitive game, that is such an emotional lift for a team.
Great point,
As you said, lacrosse, a game of momentum. You just look at the games we've covered so far this year. Teams really score in spurts.
Hopkins down 13-8 the other night. Looked like they were wide. It'll go back to the Retrievers. Gibson comes on.
Papa for Georgetown, number 4, has done a terrific job limiting Dan Morol. Morol coming into this game, 6 goals, 3 assists. He has only 1 goal.
And here come the Hoyas.
Yeah, that was Art Price, Scott, just checking the ball out of Shiley's stick. And another turnover for UMBC.
Big Art Price going wall to wall with it, and he gets checked from behind. And it's knocked loose. It'll go to UMBC.
classic example of communicating to your teammate as he's running down the field. He knows there's a guy behind him, but the tendency is to think that you outran him and that you've cleared him. But the UMBC defender right on Art Price's tail gets a stick there. As a teammate, you've got to yell, hey, Art, the guy's on your back. The guy's on your back. Circle out of trouble.
Yeah, pull back.
Pull back, exactly.
Absolutely. Here's another
Gibson.
almost same situation there.
Gibson getting worked over with a good stick check. Kyle Sweeney was on him.
Yeah, Gibson, Scott, just ran into 3 guys. He just ran into triple coverage and pays for it.
And here come the Hoyas.
Corbett again.
And another save from Kusa.
But Colbert 3 times today has gone from defense to offense.
And look at him get back on defense. He's one of the first guys back. Nice save by Kusa. Let's see if UMBC uses some clock here, rests their players a bit.
We're just under 8 minutes, 7:53 left.
Kusa got whacked, the goalie for UMBC, on the arm on that clear.
Yeah, he is. He's struggling a bit. He's trying to shake it off.
2-goal lead for Georgetown. The Hoyas ranked number 4. They're 4-0. Pass out in front and down low to score from Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe looked like he almost just redirected the ball off the pass, and it's a 1-goal game. It's 8-7.
There's only a couple guys in college lacrosse who can make this play, and Jeff Ratcliffe takes the feed. Beautiful placement of the pass.
That was Harrison.
Harrison
2
to
Canadians.
Ratcliffe, a one-touch, 2 Canadians. Watch this shot. This is brilliant. On the run, in the stick, out of this stick, redirected. Nothing Schroeder can do. The Canadian influence so apparent on this play. Watch the hand-eye coordination. Watch the redirection of the ball off the post and in the goal.
That's a pretty play. Great job by our camera people there to get that shot, but a super pass from Harrison.
And here come the Retrievers back at it. It's knocked loose. Oh, body's banging. This thing's getting tuned up about 4 notches. There's Urich. They really haven't had much chance to run their offense.
Yeah.
8-7. Ratcliffe with the hat trick now. He scored back-to-back goals, scored the short-handed goal.
UMBC on a 4-1 run. Georgetown has only scored 1 goal in over 20 minutes of play right now.
Oh, if you're Don Zimmerman, you have to be ecstatic right now. His team has a chance to steal this game. Of course, a lot of time left.
Pretty lucky there. Not ready. Urich didn't see the pass, and they got the good bounce. Retained possession with 6:35 left. And good pressure defense.
Wagner lost it, Scott.
He couldn't find it.
And I'll tell you who's working hard out there right now for UMBC is number 40, Joey Kesterman. He is just getting whacked around. Here he is right there. He was the guy that got hit.
He made a great play there to dive for that loose ball, knowing that he wasn't going to get it, but the guy from Georgetown wasn't going to get it either. And as long as that ball's on the ground, he was happy. What a play, and he's getting his teammates to roll over him on the sideline. He sold out on that last possession. That's what you got to do when you play defense. Kesterman, Wojtek, the bunch of these guys that Coach Zimmerman's rotating in the game are just really adding to the intensity.
And they're freshmen. Hard-nosed freshmen.
And they might be a little fresher down the stretch because of that, too, the way they're Zim's moving them in and out. Ratcliffe protecting the ball. We've got a whistle.
And a warding off, Scott.
Okay, yeah, they were riding him, but he was giving them something back, obviously.
That would be a box play there, right, Quinn? A sort of indoor lacrosse kind of a...
You could hear the sidelines. The Georgetown sideline was yelling, warding, warding. The UMBC sideline was saying, hold. He's holding him. He's hooking him.
I don't see the warding there.
No, I didn't see it either. It looked more like a hook or a hold.
Actually, it looked like he was doing everything to prevent the warding.
If he's got 2 hands on that stick, it's almost impossible to ward off.
Georgetown has only scored 1 goal since the 14-21 mark of the second quarter.
Amazing. With the firepower they have.
It's a 1-goal game, 8-7. A little over 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Well, you know, Scott, Dave Urich said at halftime they want to run and gun. Well, they are, but they are also not playing well in that style.
Yep.
Turning the ball over quite a bit, probably more than normal.
Their settled offense really has not been clicking. Remember, the 3 of their 8 goals are extra man. They've scored a bit in transition also.
Zach Burke.
Here comes Zach. The Zach attack.
Loose ball, and it's out of play. Deflected. And it's going to stay in UMBC's possession.
They get a break. It looked like Zach kind of forced that pass that time.
And we've got a timeout on the field. 4:45 to play in the third. We've got a good one. Georgetown up 8-7. Quint Kesnick knows the life of the goalie. What's going on here?
It's not fun. You make this play, and I can't tell you, I have a nice little calcium deposit on my left elbow, left arm. Watch this swing here. Velopek takes and just nails him right on the wrist and the forearm.
Yeah.
On a cold day like today. Ouch, 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 ouch. That'll keep you in your crease. Steve Kusa then looking for the officials.
He's pleading his
in
case.
Pain. But the attackmen are taught, hey, the goalie comes out, you take a swing at his arms.
Yeah.
Tough to play goal when your arms are all bruised up and sore. And
so they teach him to beat those guys up,
I think so. Every time I stepped out, I got
Moreau ties it up. Wasn't sure if it was in, but Dan Moreau, a little short hop.
And Quint,
the magician.
Don Zimmerman ran this play, drew this play up during the timeout.
Well, Moreau scored UMBC's second goal. He's been kind of quiet since. Watch the placement. You can't get a better shot. That shot is in the absolute corner of this goal. The defense by Papa is pretty good. He shoots it from outside the football hash marks. This is where you hope your goalie can make the save, but the magician, Dan Moreau, his second goal, and we are tied. Remember, UMBC trailed 7-3 at one point.
Great comeback here. Still a lot of time left, third quarter. 4:20 to play.
And the young Retrievers guys growing up in a hurry today.
Well, they've gone to the tournament the last 2 years. I know only 4 starters back on this team, but Don Zimmerman knows how to win, and I think his players are starting to believe in this game.
This is a conference game that has playoff implications. Remember, the ECAC will, their conference is, they're not going to have a conference tournament. They get an automatic bid based on regular season round robin play.
There's a shot.
So this is a huge game as far as the playoffs down the road.
Georgetown, Navy, UMBC, Rutgers, UMass, all in this conference. Pretty solid conference, but you'd have to say Georgetown, the favorite, of course.
And a quick stick, and Urick, he's not going to miss that one too many times, is he?
Now, he got where he wanted to, Scott. Shot a little off the target, but again, Kusa very active in there.
Urick, 7 goals against Butler and Penn State last year. 7 goals in 2 different games, and he's averaged about 3 goals a game his career. Back up top, it comes to Price, and he hits the post.
That may have gotten Kusa in the face mask.
Oh, great hustle. Great hustle.
UMBC, look at their side. The UMBC players jumping up and down. They're really into this game.
That was Keith Baker, number 28, making the all-out dive. He's from Gilman, one of the 2 Gilman players on this club. Actually, 3 is it, or is it 2? Dan Mooney, a backup goalie, is.
I think they have a long stick defender.
Yeah, Chris Tully
earlier. Yeah, Tully.
One thing I notice about lacrosse guys don't sit on the bench. Everybody's up.
Everybody's up.
Really into the game.
I think it might be too cold to sit down on the bench today.
You get stuck to the bench if you're wearing shorts.
UMBC and Georgetown tied at 8, late third quarter.
Moreau with a nice screen there.
Got a whistle.
And Don Zimmerman wants timeout. Sensed an unsettled situation there. Also sensed his team can take the lead here.
Let's talk
with a goal.
Talk about Don Zimmerman, guys. Keith, you mentioned earlier Quint had played for Zim. Won those national championships in 84, 85, and 87 at Hopkins. Now he's taken a UMBC program to the NCAAs. They've defeated Maryland the last 2 years and really trying to take it up to that notch with Loyola and Hopkins and the big boys.
Tell you,
here's the standings.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Here's the ECAC standings, current standings. I'm not sure if this has yesterday's game.
Navy won yesterday against Rutgers.
Big
They're 3-0.
victory over Rutgers, exactly. Georgetown will be the favorite. They're undefeated. Rutgers, UMass, UMBC, Penn State, and Stony Brook. We'll be seeing Penn State later on this
next week with UMBC hosting Penn State. That's a big ECAC game.
We've got 3 teams in this league that all went to the NCAA tournament: UMBC, Navy, and Georgetown. So it's not a league where you say, well, they've got an automatic conference bid.
Absolutely.
They may not have earned it. You got several teams that'll earn it.
You can see the hustle and the intensity by that man right there, Don Zimmerman. You see Hester And as you mentioned, Keith Baker hustling on the far side. Look
What a great play by Baker.
Laying out.
It's just all out.
Under 3 minutes left.
We have a helicopter landing here close to the field. Right behind Steve Kusa, the goalie.
Dan Marole back behind the goal. UMBC looking to take the lead, and they do. Ratcliffe scores his 4th goal of the game, and UMBC is a well-oiled machine right now.
You got to give Coach Zimmerman some credit. The timeout, the set play, and the execution of this play. Harrison comes right-handed. He draws the double team. Ratcliffe on the backside for the easy layup goal. And I guarantee if you went down to the UMBC sideline in chalk on their little board, you would see this play drawn up that way.
And that's 2 in a row Don has drawn up through timeouts, and both of them have ended in goals. And Georgetown guys really reeling. They're shell shot as Lawton wins another Toyota faceoff.
Ratcliffe with his 4th goal, the assist from Harrison. Those two have teamed up twice. Harrison with his 2nd assist of the game.
Nice catch by Ratcliffe as he had to go upstairs, and now fights to the goal and getting banged around, triple team.
And did the wise thing, Scott. Throw it at the goal. Good things can happen. That time I think he got knocked into the crease, but kind of maybe tried to force that a little bit.
Exactly. He's feeling it at the height of his confidence. He says, I'm going to run through
Take on the team, right?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, they get the turnover, and with this offense, your 1-goal lead can quickly dissipate. But boy, Don Zimmerman has to be ecstatic with the way his team has rallied. And not just rally, but just kind of taking the control of this game.
We haven't said much about Flick and Urich, but you know they're still going to be a factor in this game. UMBC has dominated, and there's a shot down low at a decent look, and Flick couldn't bring it home.
Nice pass up top. I'm not sure if it was Dussault or Hanahan, but Flick was sneaking to the near pipe.
This is Velopek working behind the goal, now comes out front. Under 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. UMBC, they were down 7-3. They're now on top 9-8. Georgetown ranked number 4. They've won their first 4 games. Dussault had 2 goals in the first half. They work the perimeter, and the ball's loose. And out of the goal comes Kusa with it.
Is that Brian Carcaterra or Steve Kusa? Nice control by Kusa, Quint.
Oh, smart play. Kusa using his quickness, making the play, and then saying, hey, I don't want to go move up the field. I'm going to find my teammates. Pay them for what they do best.
Yeah, then Barger takes the shot.
UMBC will get the reset and some substitutions now. Kusa, what a scoring streak. They've really stopped the scoring streak at Georgetown.
They've scored once, Quint, since that early goal in the 2nd quarter at 14:21 left in the quarter.
You know, guys, Ratcliffe has the 4 goals, and offensively he's played well. But Kusa, in my mind, because if he doesn't step up in the first half, this game is over. And he just stepped it up big time, and now has kind of fueled this momentum.
30 seconds left in the quarter.
UMBC holding for the last shot.
Smart move.
Harrison behind the goal. It's down to 20.
And Harrison, guys, with a short stick on him. Look for him, Quint Wright, to maybe try to isolate, draw the double team.
Here it goes. Now they start to run the offense. Up top, shot down low by Gibson, and a save made by Schroeder.
But a good shot.
And Georgetown fires the length of the field as the 3rd quarter ends. So the UMBC Retrievers holding their sticks high. They've got a 1-goal lead, but 15 exciting minutes left. Back with the 4th quarter right after this. 9-8 as we get ready for the 4th quarter.
Now you know what it feels like to be in a blender. Look at Ratcliffe just being devoured by the Georgetown defense. And he's saying, hey, they pushed me, they pushed me.
Well, Georgetown has scored 1 goal in the last 29 minutes and 30-some seconds now. And the Hoyas with possession to start the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that was Brett Wagner. Boy, I tell you what, guys, the face-off battle today has been priceless. These guys have really gone at it.
Well, Whedon sparked that comeback from Hopkins on Friday night by winning the draws, and it's so important.
Neither guy today really able to gain the advantage.
See in this fourth quarter how Georgetown reacts to some adversity. They've had things go their way all season.
Hanahan with a one-hopper, and we're tied at 9.
Great timing on that, Quint, but I totally agree with him. I'm sure Dave Urick was saying that. Let's dig down, fellas. Let's use our experience here.
Hanahan answers my question immediately, showing some senior leadership. Beautiful placement on that shot. Remember, this is a Georgetown team that's dominated in wins over Colgate, Army, Penn State, and Butler, winning those games in blowout fashion. So this is really the first time they've been tested eye to eye and someone has delivered a punch back.
Absolutely. And this is something that you'll have to go through in order to win the national championship.
So they went 2 quarters and 2 seconds with 1 goal until Hanahan got them going. Battle for the loose.
Oh, what a move. What a move.
And a shot and a score. Ratcliffe with his 5th goal of the game. He wouldn't be denied that loose ball.
Quinn, I thought that time, give credit to Greg Wojtek, number 17, the long pole, who came out of that and fed Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe is putting together a highlight tape of his own. Watch the check right there. Now watch the swim move by Ratcliffe, like a defensive line right there.
Oh, yeah.
He uses his stick and swims it over the defender, somehow maintains control. 5 goals for Jeffrey Ratcliffe, and the seldom seen swim move by the offensive player.
Reggie White couldn't have done it any
I was
better.
going to say, I don't see Tony Siragusa doing the swim move like that.
Battle for the ball off the Toyota face-off, and throwing his body is Brett Wagner.
You know, guys, Ratcliffe had a great sophomore season, struggled last year. I know Don Zimmerman challenged him over the fall and said, you know, we need you to step it up, and boy, he has today.
Last year, he was banged up. He had some kind of a leg injury. They moved him to midfield because they had Turner on attack, and I think he is what he is. He's a pure goal scorer. He needs to be around the cage. He needs to be given the ball in a scoring capacity, and we're seeing that today. This is his best production since his sophomore season.
In this game, he became the 19th player in UMBC history to reach 100 points. And here come the Hoyas. Shot up top, and a great save by Kusa. Tucker's up.
Guys, Kusa to me, Ratcliffe has the numbers on the other end, but Kusa to me right now is the player of this game. He is just playing a phenomenal game.
That was a really technically sound play by Urick. You see how Urick caught that, let the defense run past him, and then fired the shot? Kusa caught that one in his off top of his stick glove. Nice body save. Kusa's going to be in the trainer's room tomorrow, I'll tell you that.
We got a left.
But he will be ready next week when our cameras will be at UMBC for the Penn State UMBC game.
Schroeder's a lefty. Quint, does that make a difference for shooters?
Oh, huge difference.
Yeah, you're playing a weak side and
huge
offside.
difference. You have to shoot away from the stick, especially from close range. And for a righty, when you're shooting on a lefty goalie, it can be difficult because your stick is matched up with the goalie stick.
12:35 to play, fourth quarter, 10-9 UMBC trying to pull a major upset.
It's Kesterman, the freshman, who's been active in a variety of ways. I think that was his first shot. Don Zimmerman not hesitant to throw the freshman out today, and they've produced. And Scotty, we mentioned Ratcliffe. This is not his career high. He had 7 goals against Mount St. Mary's 2 years ago.
Not to demean Mount St. Mary's, but
this is
5 against the 4th-ranked team in the country may be a bigger highlight than those 7, especially if they win today.
I'm sure he'll look back at today and ranks right there, one of his all-time best.
Pretty good fake.
Nice scoop.
Yeah, pull it wide.
UMBC operating with so much more confidence now. Things are much tighter to the cage than they were early. All the players are getting involved. They're really much more confident.
I think what that does, Quentin, you're not afraid to make a difficult play or difficult pass. You gamble a little bit more.
Harrison in front. Oh, got position. It'll stay UMBC's way.
And Ratcliffe just outran Art Price to that ball, Scott.
Multiple shot possession generated by backing up the goal.
So the back of Dave Urick has to be wondering when or if his team can take control of this game.
Harrison. UMBC deliberate, looking for the right shot. Harrison gets driven to the turf. Good defense.
Yeah, that was Tamburino, another Calvert Hall grad.
Good position. He just drove him down.
Yeah, played with Brett Wagner at Calvert Hall.
One goal game. UMBC with the ball in the lead.
This little screen and roll there.
Jump shot and nothing doing as Schroeder makes the save and the Retrievers bring it up.
A lot of traffic to go through there.
Good save by Schroeder. Effective possession both ways. UMBC got some shots, low percentage variety. Georgetown weathers the storm.
Harrison probably had the best shot on the in the sequence as he got inside position.
I think he'd like to have that one back, Scotty. Great defense there.
He stripped him.
Boy, Zach Burke is stepping it up. Burke, on a number of occasions, guys, has made the 2 good offensive runs and played real solid defense.
Zach Burke de-sticking.
De-sticking.
Watch this play right here, right there, just with the strength, makes the check, and then the Hoya is guilty of playing without a stick. Anytime contact is made and you don't have a stick in your hand, that's a violation.
4-year starter, talking about Zach Burke. He's one of the co-captains. Hoya's in possession now. They're down a goal. Nearing the 10-minute mark.
Yes, Scotty, UMBC just turned it back over as Greg Papa tries to clear.
Just bounces it ahead.
Mentioned Papa, guys. The Gettleman brothers from UMBC also played at Manhasset, the Denahans.
Hanahan with a shot on goal. Hoyas run it down. Get it back to Wagner. Oh, and there's a sloppy play and an unforced error.
I think when Dave Urick looks back at this tape, maybe we'll talk about this after the break, Scott.
Timeout's called. 9:33 left. UMBC 10, Georgetown 9. The Precision Tune keys to the game, Quint.
Well, take a look. UMBC stopped the Hoya attack trio. They have done a good job. Early on in the game, they weren't stopping them. Lately, obviously, they have maximized Morol. Morol has been involved in about 3 or 4 of the goals. Georgetown dominate the draws. They have not. And you can see our last key.
So you can see the Georgetown's answer to the Golden Dome.
The saves for Schroeder, and Schroeder has not outplayed.
No, I think Kusa
has been fantastic.
So that one's
dominated that matchup.
Exactly, so that one's advantage UMBC.
Hoyas with some pressure and what's the call there?
Over and back.
Yeah, out and back in. UMBC on the clear.
Right in front of the Georgetown bench, too.
Now, quit that yellow line. That's what we're talking about there, right?
Exactly. So many lines in this field, but that's the yellow restraining line.
Once you cross that, you cannot go back.
Just like basketball.
Hoyas looking to tie it up. They're down a goal. It's 10-9.
And a whistle. It's like he's saying something to Jeff Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe threw a stick up like, why? What are you talking about?
Disregard the flag. We heard that.
Hey, how many times do we hear that in football season?
Maybe we're going to check a stick.
In the NFL.
At least they're not going to huddle for 5 minutes.
Inadvertent penalty.
Right.
Well, Friday night, sorry, Scotty, Friday night it was everything as advertised. Tonight it's more than advertised. UMBC in position to steal one here.
What was the line on this game, Quint? Quint's in charge of the line.
The unofficial.
There's another save for Kusa. Hanahan with the shot. What was the unofficial cue line on this game?
Georgetown had to come in, favored by a bunch of goals. And I think after getting an early lead, they reacted.
They called the foul not on number 7, Kyle Sweeney.
I thought we had a kayak here for a moment.
Malik Lopez. What do you think? What'd you see there?
Check this one out. And there's a shot in the goal, and the Hoyas have tied it up.
That was a wild sequence.
Right off the turnover. Georgetown advances the ball up the field. They get it down low to Flick, who scores. He's been quiet since the first quarter. Remember, Flick had 2 quick goals, but Georgetown in transition, they tied up 10-10.
That's 3 and 2, I believe. 5-point game for Flick, and we're tied with 8:35 left.
Saw the tail end of that play, but it started on the change of possession with the penalty against the UMBC player, Malik Lopez.
And they win the draw, and here come the Hoyas looking to take the lead.
So important defensively off those loose ball infractions. The referees give the ball to the other team, and then they blow that whistle right away. You can't get caught sleeping. Got to get back in. And offensively, conversely, hey, take a chance. See if the other team's really awake.
Absolutely.
And give Georgetown some credit.
It paid off.
Scott Doyle getting worked by Wotek.
Wotek has played a solid game today.
Flick with a 5-point afternoon. Over on the other side, 5 goals for Ratcliffe. Oh, and nice play by Kusa as he stepped out into the passing lane and just swiped it.
And again, the challenge of clearing for UMBC. Sometimes today it's been an adventure. That time they do it well.
Josh Hahn.
Josh Hahn running for his life. Colbert throwing the checks. UMBC now will make some changes. They'll substitute. But Hester with that clear. Once he gets going.
Boy, he's got some speed. Scott mentioned he was an offensive midfielder at one point in his career. 2 or 3 times, and he's turned the ball over once or twice, but 2 or 3 times he's led that clear well.
Gets those knees kicking high and the stick held up high.
Zim's line was he wasn't necessarily rebuilding, he was remodeling this year. That's a good piece to remodel.
No doubt about it.
Under 7 minutes left in the game. We're tied at 10. If it stays tied, sudden death overtime.
Now, if you can
haven't had one of those yet.
If we can take a wide shot, you'll see how they're clearing out here.
Giving Charlie Gibson a little room
number 10 was Gibson. Just Quint, what are they doing here?
Well, UMBC's operating with 2 midfielders behind the cage, and they're trying to spread the field with the other players, creating space.
There's a shot by Barger, wide to the right side.
Really attacking the weaknesses of the defense, which are the short stick midfielders, being 16, Art Price, and 45, Trevor Walker.
Walker, the freshman.
Harrison gets knocked down.
And that time Price is up for the challenge, and Price stopped playing, wanting the foul, or wanting a call there, Quint.
Yeah, interesting. UMBC playing the ball. Harrison basically dove on the ball with his free hand. There should have been a whistle. Price, though, assumed there was going to be a whistle. And watch Ratcliffe come up. Watch Harrison. He'll put his right hand on the ball right there. That is illegal. Should have been UMBC Georgetown's ball.
Greg Papa comes up limping, number 4, right at us here. You see him walking to the camera.
That's their best defender.
That's their best defender.
They don't want to be losing him in a 10-10 game.
Here's the entire play right here. This could have been a push violation. Wasn't. Good call. Good no call. But then Harrison plays the ball without his stick. Price stops and throws his arm up. Got to play the whistle. And Ratcliffe comes in. You can see him. Ratcliffe is all over the field today.
Art Price, the grandson of Ed Hardigan, a legend in Baltimore. Also a former Hall of Famer here at Georgetown. Variety of sports. Ed Hardigan. Boy, he's quite a name in Baltimore amateur sports.
Marol gets stick check, loses it, gets it back, tries to shuffle one in.
Nice job by Colbert on the far side. You can see Papa getting some attention to his ankle, which was wrapped.
Inside 6 minutes, guys. We're tied at 10.
Harrison trying to muscle in, fires down low, and it's backed up. Gibson got there.
And again, he's working on Price. Zim must like that matchup because they're trying to isolate Price in a variety of different parts of the field.
Interesting matchup. Pair of number 16s. Price at 6'5", Harrison listed at 5'9". And let me tell you, he's probably 5'8", 5'7". Awkward for Price to cover a guy that small. He has a strength advantage, but watch how Harrison likes to duck in and get under him. Very difficult for a player of Price's size not to foul him. He's so big.
Yeah. Trevor Walker matching up. There's a shot, ball loose out front, and now they play it back to Schroeder.
Hahn with the shot. Good save by Schroeder. Hahn cutting off the double pick left-handed.
Oh,
Schroeder was there.
Oh, and turnover.
And a big break.
Colbert couldn't handle it.
And Scott, when he couldn't handle it, number 23, Mike Hicks, was just coming on the field. It rolled right to him.
Marol lost it in front, and Schroeder up with it, and here come the Hoyas again. Scott Doyle. Under 5 minutes left in the game. We're tied at 10.
Here's where the experience now, Georgetown's all-senior attack can take a game over.
Georgetown led 5-3 after one. It was 7-4 Georgetown at the half, and then UMBC exploded in the third quarter, outscored the Hoyas 5-1 to go up 9-8. We're now tied at 10.
Georgetown trying to clear out for Dussault, number 13.
You hear him yelling Deuce, and there's the quick stick and score. Mike Hanahan took it right in front of the crease and just flicked his wrist, and the Hoyas lead at 11-10.
Hanahan from Hammer. Hanahan's second goal. The play was designed for Dussault. He lost it. Hammer picked it up, and you can see the defense. Just too much room for Hanahan in front, who one touches it. Here it is again. UMBC, they converge around Hammer, and you can't leave the guy in front of the goal wide open. Hanahan makes that play.
Oh, nice play.
All right, we got a timeout. We'll be back. Georgetown on top by 1. Well, there you see Mike Hanahan. He just gave the Hoyas the lead. 2 goals and assist for him, 11-10, and a big face-off. Toyota face-off, battle out front, and Lawton wins it.
That's big, Scotty. Brian Lawton's 13th face-off he's won today, and none bigger than right there.
Roll with a left-hand bullet. Backed up, it'll go back to the Retrievers.
Huge face-off. And Marol really trying to be the man. I think he's got to step up and handle the ball here.
Well, you said in the pregame it starts and ends with him, right, Quint? Ratcliffe has had a big game.
Harrison now has the long stick on him, Quint. Sweeney. Price played in the last possession.
Sweeney throws a lot of checks
there.
And he got a wicked screen.
Yeah. Harrison up front, and now it's stripped. Retrievers get it back. Gibson picked it up, and he threw it away.
It's like taking one too many dribbles in basketball.
Now Georgetown throws it away.
Oh.
Don Zimmerman hustled over. He was going to pick it up. He was going right to the goal.
He was going for the kick save. But how many times we see one too many dribbles in basketball get you in trouble? That time Harrison made maybe one step too many.
And Sampson, 19 for Georgetown, got the long stick. He's got a tall kid with a long reach. Made the play.
It's a good matchup here, Marol and Colbert.
Marol taking it to the goal, now spins back. Getting the double team. You see the stick all over him.
Boy, great defense.
Good help by 4. Papa.
He was out with the ankle. He's looked pretty good right there.
Yeah, it looked like he was moving quick there.
You've got to stop the opposing team's best player, and Papa understood.
Good pass in front and a great save. Ratcliffe was right there, and Schroeder may have made the play of the game.
Schroeder with a diving save coming across the cage. Unbelievable save by Schroeder.
And here come the Hoyas. Tamburino, he gets checked, and we've got a whistle.
Blue timeout.
Might have been called. Okay, a break for Georgetown. They would have lost possession there.
Well, there's Schroeder, Scotty.
Let's take another look at that play. Ratcliffe took a pass, was parked right on the doorstep.
An amazing diving stop across the cage. Radcliffe, so precise from inside, shoots for the upper corner, and somehow
he was in the crease, actually.
Watch this. Being a lefty here really helps him out. If he was a righty, remember, he sticks on the other side.
Actually, run that back, guys. Charlie Gibson, number 10. Oh, he wasn't, Quint?
Afterwards, he was. Right there, he stepped.
No, I'm talking about on the pass.
Oh, on the pass?
Gibson was in the crease, so maybe they got away with one. But, you know, he scored 5 goals, but we'll talk about the one, if it stays this way, that he didn't score.
Oh, gosh, what a save.
Yeah, take a look at it again. Keith said.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right there, he may have stepped. It's a yellow line.
Okay.
It's the crease. Terrific
very
pass.
close.
And then Radcliffe, oh, you want to bounce this ball down low because look at that save. That is a game saver.
If the Hoyas win the game, I think we've got our play of the game right there.
Yes. That's a huge
That
play.
would have tied it at 11.
And it looked, Quinn, it looked like he just took a shot. I'm going to take a shot. Hopefully he goes for the right upper.
And can you imagine if Radcliffe just pumps that and then puts it in the empty net?
You hear the emotion down on the field as Don Zimmerman and the Retrievers need a goal to tie it up. 2:36 left.
Scotty Don right now, Quint, not looking for a moral victory. He knows his season doesn't hinge on this game, but certainly will be helped dramatically.
But you know, it's almost like the Hopkins loss the other night. If they can get out of here, maybe lose to a terrific team like this by 1, they can really build on
Turn things around
over the season.
Remember, at 2 minutes to go in this game, Georgetown's going to be forced to keep the ball in the offensive quarter, the offensive box of the field. So they'll be issued a stalling call automatically at the 2-minute mark.
And defensively, how do things change? Everybody pressing up, Quint?
Exactly. With no shot clock in lacrosse, you can't afford to sit back. You've got to eventually take your goalie out of the net and use him in a defensive capacity.
You start cheating a little more, 2-mans too, trying to get the trap.
Double the ball
teams, yeah.
and have the goalie come out and cover somebody. You're leaving an empty net, but you need the ball.
We're under 2 minutes. 1:55 left. Hoyas lead 11-10. It's been a great game.
Really has, Scott. Been a fabulous game.
UMBC had the fantastic third quarter.
Here comes Kusa.
There's the double team.
And it pays off.
And that's exactly what Quint was talking about. So the Hoyas turn it over.
Huge clear here.
And it's forced out of the stick of Kusa, who just throws it back into the play, but he was over the line.
What a hustling play by Georgetown. They turn it over. UMBC is going to call a timeout right now. They turn it over, but Georgetown, refusing to let him up the field, generates the second chance, and now Georgetown will have the ball.
Guys, this game has been such a great game. If you want to see it again, you can purchase a tape for this game by calling Lax World at 1-800-PLAY-LAX. Any game we do this year, part of our Toyota College Lacrosse Game of the Week, you can get the tape, Lax World, 1-800-PLAY-LAX.
Well, Scott Schroeder and Steve Kusa may want a copy because both goalies have made some outstanding plays. Kusa throughout the game, and then the terrific save by Schroeder that prevented the tie. There you go. Lax World, 1-800-PLAY-LAX.
This game or any game, and we've seen some highlights this year.
Yes,
Overall,
we
we have seen some exciting lacrosse.
Great game Friday night.
Can't complain about any of the games we've done. The Loyola Duke game,
yes.
Great hits, great goals. Friday night, Ryan Powell with those 2 incredible goals.
There's some cold guys. Cliff and Gary up on the rooftop.
Cliff Jurgen, Gary
It looks like they're covering 90-meter ski jumping at Copper Peak.
Part of the X Games. Dave Urick hoping that his team can hold off UMBC for another minute 32, and then he can notch another win number 220 on his Hall of Fame resume.
Spent the 80s at Hobart, the 90s at Georgetown, and now starts the new decade.
Empty net for UMBC. You can see the double team.
And that's Flick trying to beat it. And he does.
It's through there, but they got a stick on the shot at least.
Yeah, Burke with a stick.
Somehow Flick got through that double team. It looked as if he put the stick on his chest, which would be illegal.
I thought I noticed that too, Quint.
UMBC now will stay not in the double team yet because the ball's in front of the goal. Watch for number 6, Kusa, the goalie. He's got black sweats. That's how you can notice him. He'll come out into double team.
The big stick helps too, right?
1:12 left.
There he is.
Now the ball is loose. Flick gets a stick on it.
Kusa back in goal.
1 minute remaining in the game. 1 minute.
Urick. Under a minute now. Time in the lower right-hand portion of your screen.
Boy, Urick
trying to run it out. Urick with some fresh legs.
Boy, unbelievable here.
Now Kusa out challenging him. Pops the ball loose. Oh, and a big hit there by number 16, Art Price.
That's going to be a moving pick, and Price is lucky that they didn't get him for a foul because it was high. You can hear it from here.
But he opens the door for UMBC here, Quinn.
Real quick, watch the replay. Top of your screen right there. Price made contact with the UMBC players.
And here they come.
Jurek had it.
Here they come. 30 seconds left.
25. UMBC needs a goal to tie. Final seconds. Harrison. Knocked to the ground was Marol. And that might do it. 8 seconds. The Hoyas have it at midfield. Fans up in the stands. And Georgetown has fought off a game effort by the UMBC Retrievers, and they hang on for an 11-10 win. But what a game here this afternoon.
Sensational game. Give UMBC tons of credit for the comeback, the performance of Radcliffe, but Schroeder for Georgetown with the absolute save of the season, saving this game entirely by himself. Kusa for UMBC, a heroic effort.
Yeah, hold your head high, Steve, because you played the game of your young college career, Scott. Just a great game up and down. A lot of hits, a lot of goals, a lot of great plays.
The one thing we wondered coming into the game was the play and goal, because both guys hadn't played much. We saw some terrific play between the pipes. Georgetown wins at 11-10. We're back in just a minute.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Toyota, making it happen every day. CollegeLacrosseUSA.com, the definitive source. STX Lacrosse, we live it, we breathe it, we build it. And Warrior, the means to dominate.
11-10 the final score. The Georgetown Hoyas now 5-0 on the season, came in ranked number 4, but boy, they got a handful from UMBC right down to the final second.
They were tested. They got out early. Remember, they led 5-3. They led 7-3, but UMBC came back and dominated the middle stages of this game, the second and third quarter. What a game.
Today's CollegeLacrosseUSA.com play of the game features the man in goal, Scott Schroeder. The sophomore came up big. 1 goal difference at this time.
The score was 11-10 right now in favor of Georgetown. Less than 5 minutes to go in the game, and he dives across the cage for the play of the game and the play of the season for Georgetown.
I got to agree with that one. What a big, it's all when you do it. Today's Warrior player of the game right here.
Jeffrey Radcliffe from UMBC, career effort, 5 goals, the second highest he's ever scored in a game. Radcliffe really doing the damage for UMBC. 5 goals, the bounce pass from Barger, and then the 1 touch from Harrison.
Guys, I know we get a lot of response on the games, but the fans were with us this weekend from Friday night in the Dome through today. They saw 2 lacrosse games that are about as good as you're going to get.
Doesn't get any better than that. Down to the wire, both games, and certainly UMBC and Jeff Radcliffe right here. Again, no moral victories when you're at this level, but they have to feel good about how they have improved from last week.
2 intense games, both 1-goal margins. Our staff, our crew doing a great job bringing college lacrosse on the road and then down here in Washington.
We've enjoyed it. We'll get to see UMBC against next week. So that's going to do it from Georgetown. The Hoyas down UMBC, but it was a battle. 11-10 the final score. Have a good Sunday, everybody.
Sports presentation, Baltimore's leader in local sports programming.